I am really excited because today I have something that you've been begging me to review for, well, years at this point. See that? That's right. I got myself a BedJet. It's time to install this thing and see how it compares to my 8 Sleep and the Hydro Snooze.
The BedJet 3 is easy enough to set up, but there are a lot of parts, all of which do feel kind of cheap.
So coming from the other systems, this one is a little weird, you know? It feels... This whole piece was off when I got it. I had to click it back into place. Is it okay? Yeah. But maybe that's part of the refurbished thing. Anyway, this whole process feels... It's not necessarily convoluted, but chintzy. Is that the right word? Comes with a remote though, and it's, wow, already powered on, and it's a really nice remote. I'm gonna give them that. It looks pretty good. Can I just turn it off, or is it always on?
As I mentioned earlier, BedJet sent me both of these products free of charge. However, the sheet is a refurbished one, and you can see some slight scratches and stains. However, nothing that would affect its performance.
So I've kind of run into another issue. It's just our bed isn't deep enough for it to go in. So I'm gonna have to remove this and put it over on this side, and then probably place the BedJet underneath the nightstand. Okay, this is a lot more involved on the remote side. I'm gonna dive into the user's manual. It'll probably tell me there. It looks like it also has an app. So if I gotta use an app, that'd be kind of weird if it came with a remote, but maybe you can just use the remote. But I need to dig into this, and I'll check back in with you a little bit later. Okay, I downloaded the app. The app was very easy to install and connect to the BedJet. So point there. It's a real basic interface, so that's nice. Watch what happens when you hit cool. It turns on. And then look at the bed. So that sheet is now being filled with air. Wow, that's very loud. That's substantially louder than all the other systems I've used. I've used a lot of these products, and I have my concerns. One, the noise. I don't think this thing is ever really going to get to where it can be quiet. 2, it is 66 degrees in the house. Every negative review I've seen of the BedJet is from someone who lives in a hot, humid climate. There's not a cooling unit in the BedJet 3 like there is in the 8 Sleeps or the Sleep Me's or even the Hydro Snoozes. And because of that, I can't see this overcoming the temperature that you emit to get you cool throughout the entire night. I will give it high marks for just how easy it is to install, even though it is kind of hodgepodge. The remote feels great. It connected super fast. Their app is insanely easy to understand. So for all of those reasons, lots of thumbs up. Does it actually work? We'll check back and I'll let you know.
Holy crap. I don't know if I'm going to be able to sleep with that thing. Did you hear how loud it is? It's so loud. That noise, that's the 8 Sleep. This is the BedJet 3. And I didn't even turn it on turbo. Just listen. it's really loud.
So what did I think of my first night using the BedJet? It's different. You'd think temperature is temperature. If it got down to the temperature I wanted, then we're all good. And while that's only partially true, the experience of using it and how that temperature is actually moved throughout the bed is substantially different than an 8-sleep, a Hydra Snooze, or a Sleep Me. And for that reason, my experience was not great. And here's why. Because of the location of where all the air is coming out, down there, and just by the nature of it being air rather than water being moved throughout tubes, and having the blankets on top of it, for some reason all of the air got pushed towards my feet, and it took forever to reach my upper body where I'm the most uncomfortable. The last thing I want is to have cold air blowing on my feet all night long. And for me, that became really uncomfortable. We're going to turn this sucker on, and we're just going to go to cool.
Yeah, because that's how I would use it. I don't want it to heat me. I want it to keep me cool at night.
Yep.
Okay. Does that noise even out?
Not that I have found.
Oh, that's okay. All right. Okay, first of all, absolutely not could I sleep with that noise.
Okay, well, that was at half speed.
Oh, stop. Okay.
This is at 100%.
Okay. Let me give it a shot before I just like write it off. Okay, it's actually getting better. What I'm evaluating is this is very loud.
It is.
So could this function as white noise for me? Does it go on and off over the course of the night? As it hits temp, will it turn off?
You know, it has gotten quieter.
But like, is it like an air conditioner where it hits temps and turn off, and then as it
I
heats
have
up,
not seen that.
Okay,
No.
so it's kind of constant.
Yeah.
It's loud. I think that I could get adjusted to this as white noise.
Okay.
It seems pretty steady.
For me, the pitch is the thing
Yeah.
that makes it weird for me.
Yeah.
It is kind of harsh.
It's not pitched like my pink noise at
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
I know.
BedJet themselves say, hey, if your room or your environment's like 78 degrees or warmer, like this isn't going to work. It's going to burn out.
Okay.
So for me, knowing how hot I get and how hot I stay
Yeah.
all night
right,
long,
Right.
it would require a lot of energy, a lot of
Yeah.
power to overcome me.
Yeah.
Now, some people aren't like me. and
Here's
so-
the thing, though.
yeah.
One of the main benefits of having a cooling unit for your bed is that it allows you to save on AC bills, especially in the summer. We
Yeah.
used to turn our AC down to like 63 in the
Yep.
summer in order to sleep comfortably. Now we can keep it at 68, which is far more energy efficient, and stay cool all night. If this isn't going to work as effectively, if your room or the air or your body is hot, then it kind of defeats the purpose for me.
Yep. You know how weird my feet are.
Yeah.
And sensitive to cold.
Yeah.
This thing blows directly to the feet to circulate.
You know, it's so funny that you say that because my feet are now colder than the rest of my body.
Now you can move it. There are different spots, but I feel like you're gonna get a cold spot no
Anywhere
matter
you put
like
it, yeah.
unless like if we were to share the bed, somebody's getting the cold spot.
Right.
That would be me for
Yeah,
sure.
Sure.
Right? If you weren't in bed, then I could put
You
it
could-
on the other
yeah,
side and maybe
yeah.
mitigate that. But
Yeah.
if you share your bed, somebody's getting
Yeah.
a cold spot because I can definitely feel it pooling around my
Sure,
feet.
yeah. I will say though, now that it's been running for a little while, like it's working. I do feel
Yeah.
I feel uniformly chilled. What I don't know though is if 66 degrees would be cold enough for me.
Because
At
you
night.
also do sleep.
I do sleep hot, and also in like perimenopause and menopause, I have occasionally had hot flashes.
Yeah.
And during those, it's like there's no amount of chill that helps. Although the 8-sleep actually, I've never had a hot flash with the 8-sleep.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this would be enough to overcome that symptom too. I know that's why a lot of people get the mattress coolers, is because heading into menopause, those hot flashes are the worst. They leave you just like drenched in sweat.
Yeah. What do you think, Hans? Do you like it?
I mean, I think it could be a good way for someone to kind of opt into the system relatively low risk.
Yeah.
And if they like the feeling of it, or they like the benefit, but it's just maybe they want a system that's like a little more sophisticated, they could kind of level up to an 8 sleep.
Yep.
For me, this would not replace an 8 sleep.
No, I have yet to. I'm hoping something will eventually,
Yeah, maybe.
but I have yet to find something that has all the features and is powerful enough.
Yeah.
We're now to that part of the video where I tell you the pros and cons of the BedJet 3 and whether or not you should be buying one, because that's why you're watching. And unfortunately, I can't do that at this time, but there is a really good reason why. And for you to understand why, you kind of have to understand, first of all, what the BedJet is, and maybe more importantly, what it's not. You see, almost every single complaint, I think every single complaint I've ever seen on the BedJet 3 has nothing to do with its price, has nothing to do with its build, has nothing to do with it breaking or anything like that. It has to do with what BedJet 3 is and the problems that BedJet has to overcome, both in physics and thermodynamics, in order for it to actually work for you. You see, it works, but not as a traditional unit. I explained earlier that the Hydra Snooze, 8 Sleep, Sleep Me, they all use water that runs through the mattress pad to cool you. And they do that using a Peltier cooler. So it's an actual like brick, like a heat sink and a bunch of other components that, like what you would find in a fridge, that actually cools the water down. I hope you don't mind. I've gone to the liberty of dismantling this thing. So here is the BedJet 3, right? Here are all the components that you can see. And this main thing, this is the thing that does the cooling. We've got a basic board that runs all of the electronics, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and whatnot. But basically, it sucks in air through the rear here, winds it up, and spits it out. There's no cooling unit in here. And so there are two inherent problems with the BedJet 3 and all the other BedJets, because they've all been like this. One, and BedJet says this very plainly on their site. They're not trying to hide anything, just FYI. If where you live is very hot and very humid, especially your room if it's over 78 degrees, this just simply isn't going to work. It's not going to be able to cool you down enough. Number two, yes, you are like a giant battery. You're 98.6 degrees all night long. And so even if this does get down to 66, can it overcome that 98.6 all night long if you're truly a really hot sleeper like I am? And the answer is no to both of those things. So the reason I can't give you my opinion now is because we're in Salt Lake, a notoriously cold environment, and it's winter. So the complaints that I hear from people are from people that like live in Atlanta and Hawaii and other places like that, where they're like, this doesn't work. It doesn't cool anything down, and they're in a humid environment. And Salt Lake is very hot in the summer. 100 degrees, no problem. Now it's dry, but it's 100 degrees. Now we don't keep our house 100 degrees, obviously, but I can't recommend it, and I can't say it'll work until I've actually put it in that environment. But something tells me, based on what I see here, there's no way it can overcome thermodynamics for it to work if you live in one of those environments. Now, let's say it does work in that environment. There's still one glaring issue, and that is the volume. This thing is so insanely loud. Me and my wife fall asleep to white noise every night, and it is quite loud, but it's soothing, right? Like you've listened to brown noise and white noise, and like it's calming. It puts you to sleep. This is somewhat harsh and invasive. It sounds like it's not like a It's not even like a swamp cooler in a hotel room, like a dingy hotel room that's somehow calming. This is just kind of harsh. It emits a pitch that just kind of eats at you. And I can do it for a night or two, but like between me and my wife, it just doesn't work. I will say, BedJet, you're super smart. Like on your website, you even say like before you buy this, consult your partner. Like don't introduce something new into the room to sleep with. And I gotta be honest, like I really like BedJet as a company because they don't hide anything. They're very upfront about everything. And I would like for them to succeed just based on like their ethics. I think they're really cool that way. And a lot of companies could take a lesson from you, BedJet. So I applaud you on that. So while I like it, I think it's for the money. I mean, this thing is, I'm gonna say $429 new for like the single unit. Like that's super cheap compared to, you know, an 8-sleep, which is $2,500 all the way up to like 4,000. That's crazy. I would like for this to work, but something in my gut says it's just not gonna, which is kind of a shame, but like I said, I'm gonna hold those opinions until we reach the summer, and then I'll come back with like a definitive review on the BedJet 3. But I'm stoked to have it. If you have any other questions, let me know. You can do some really cool stuff with this. Outside of that, I don't want to get into it right now simply because I know that it's not like a complete review, and I can't give you like an honest, complete review up until that time. So hopefully you didn't feel like it was a waste of money, but maybe if you've been looking at it, you understand now that because of how this is built, why it might not work for you. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you do have any questions, I'm happy to forward them to BedJet if they're super technical, or if I can answer it, I'll answer it, or I'll point you to somebody who can. Just let me know down in the comments below. And thanks for watching. If you found this insightful, entertaining, informative, make sure you hit the like button. I guarantee you there are other people just like you out there wanting to know more about the BedJet system and if they should get it or something else. There are links to the products in the description as well. And yeah, that's it. I don't want to ramble too much. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace. It's not a cost issue. It's because, holy crap, that was scary, but it still works. It was still recording. So if you're ever looking to buy an S5 Mark II, maybe that's the reason right there. Although that video doesn't work now. That's crazy.